Hey, what's going on, guys? I appreciate that you guys are here on my channel again. We are doing another interview, and this time it is with Duncan. Actually been friends for, it seems like, almost 2 years now.
Almost, yeah.
Incredible person, incredible TC, incredible investor. But yeah, we were taking this time because Emma is a believer as well.
Yes.
Emma has her faith in God, and I'm sure God has done many things in your life. I know there has been some traveling. I know there's been some uphills, downhills. We've had some conversations, and I've seen God move in your life.
Yeah.
So, do me a favor, introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Emma Duncan. I am born and raised in Oklahoma and Texas, so I'm kind of back in that heart of where I was raised, in a Bible Belt. Came from a Christian family. I'm so thankful for the things that especially my mom instilled in me, because that's helped me through this journey of adulthood that I did not expect I would need those strengths that I received when I was little. I moved to Virginia Beach, where I met my husband, who was a youth pastor. 1 year into our marriage, we moved all the way across the United States to Washington State. And we resided in Washington, Oregon, and California, where we eventually met.
Yeah.
And then just this last summer, we moved from California to Arizona. So we're right below Sedona, Arizona. We are not crazy enough to be in the heat of Phoenix. I tell people I'm not that stupid. So we're there. God brought us through this journey, through trials and opening doors. My husband lost his job shortly after our honeymoon. And then, I know, right? Crazy story. But that's what led us to Washington State, where he was working at a church. That church went through some upheaval, and he was able to bring stability and guidance to the staff and the church during that. And then we realized that we wanted change. And so we moved to Portland, Oregon. And that is where things got really interesting, because he left his church work. And we had our son, Daryush, which is my why I'm here today. Daryush was born with Down syndrome. He was born early. And then at 6 months of life, he had a fight with AML, leukemia.
Wow.
That was our intro into motherhood, into fatherhood. And that was that moment where my husband and I both remember that the scriptures say that God will not give you more than you can handle.
That's right.
And we're like, well, obviously you're laughing right now, because what the hell are you thinking, God? Like, this is just too much. Like, how could you ask us to go through this much sorrow and pain? But as we went through that journey specifically, although it was hard, we realized that the gift of Down syndrome was the gift that saved his life.
Wow.
Because
Well, hold on. Hold on. You can't drop a line like that.
And I'm so used to
not
talking
go
about it that
into
like I don't pause anymore.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's
So let me unpack
let's start.
that, right?
Yeah, let's start from the moving. I mean, how many states did you move in?
This is now our 5th state that we have lived in.
Wow. And how has that been an impact in your marriage? Because you've been married for
15 plus years.
15 plus years. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
and how has that impacted?
So what I tell people is that when you are newly married, moving away from family is the smartest decision that you can ever make. It made us work through our challenges of getting used to each other without having that, oh, I'm going to go talk to my sister. I'm going to like go complain to my mom, or, oh, your mom is going to come over and invade my space, right?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have any of that, because it was just the two of us. And during those first 7 years of our marriage, we had to work through all that to get to know each other and what we do during trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
So that when Daryush came into the picture, we were ready to communicate the way that we needed to.
You had that foundation.
Yeah, exactly.
That strong foundation. And it actually guides us in the Bible, right? You look at Abraham, and it's like, go away. just you two. I mean, again, you guys are becoming one.
Right.
So go with me, go with the Lord. And so that you guys did that. You guys did exactly that, and you guys built this foundation. Okay, perfect. Foundation built. Now we're in the stage where, all right, baby's coming.
Baby's coming.
And then I'll
be pause there really quick.
Okay.
7 years of marriage. Mm-hmm. We had not done anything to not have children.
Okay.
Right? So we had,
all in the Lord's hands.
Yeah, right. We'd come to that point where it's like, well, you know what? If it's not supposed to happen, then maybe we're just those really cool aunt and uncle, mm-hmm. and like everybody's gonna always come see us. Our house will always be full. Like it'll be fine, right? No big deal. And then we suddenly realized that we were pregnant. So it was like, oh, okay, perfect, perfect. All right, so let's do this. And then Daryush came almost a full month early.
Okay.
Natural birth. Barely made it to the hospital in time. And then within that first 24 hours of him being born, they came into our room and said, we have some news to tell you. Your son has Down syndrome.
Oh, they didn't know beforehand?
We didn't do any testing beforehand.
Oh, okay.
Because in our mind was, no matter what this child is gifted to us, we did not expect it. So we'll just embrace it, right?
Okay.
And so we're like, okay, well, what does that mean? You know, like we had to learn on the spot. And at that point, it's so interesting. We were always telling ourselves, never have expectations for your children. Mm. Don't build this up in your head. We realized at that moment we had expectations we had built up in our head.
It's so hard not to, right? Yeah. Because you see, the world will impact you in a way that you don't even realize sometimes. Yeah. And you see videos, you see these children, like in your mind, again, you're trying not to, but you're like, oh, my kid's going to be this. Oh, my kid's going to do this. Yeah. Oh, my kid's going to fall off or this. Like my interest can be their interest. And then you start building this dream without even realizing it. Yeah. And so
we had this perfect picture in our mind that our children were going to be healthy. We love hiking. We love learning. We love books. My husband is wanting to dive back into, and he's been doing it over the last several years, back to his history and his heritage of being Persian. Okay. And so he wants to relearn Farsi. So he's like, I'm going to learn Farsi, and my children are going to learn Farsi, and it's going to be a beautiful picture, right? And then Daryush was born, and we realized that individuals with Down syndrome it's very hard for them to do a lot of things because they have low tone, including learning how to speak. Okay. So now it's like, we're not going to go from learning 2 or 3 languages, where now we're going, I just hope we can get him to articulate well enough that people understand what he is saying, right? Yes. And that was like really like a low point and a hard thing that we were having to go through. But I'm so thankful that Nima and I are the individuals that we are. It's just probably why God gifted him to us instead of somebody else. That we were like, to hell with it. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to push him. Yeah. And then at 6 months of life, we were hit again, where it was like, yep, he has leukemia. Oh. And you have to do 7 rounds of chemo, 10 months worth of in and out of the hospital. Wow. And we're like, what is going on? Like we like, doesn't he already have enough hardships? Right. Like, why are you doing this to him? Right.
Oh man. That
it's hard, right?
That hits, right? Yeah. Like my son has autism.
Yeah.
But this is again, it's its own challenge, right? So what I'm immediately thinking is, what did you learn?
What did I learn? I learned that there are gifts in people, and that you shouldn't assume that if they have a different ability, that those gifts are not there.
Oh, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Daryush is so emotional, good and bad. Like his ability to empathize with people, like, came out at 6 months of life. He was, as he was learning how to walk, because we were still pushing him during chemo. We were like, you're going to learn how to walk. We're going to use your muscles, right? We were those parents that were like, you're not just going to lay in bed. He won Nike tennis shoes because he did a 5K from looping that hospital loop every day enough times that he did a 5K through his chemo treatment, right?
Wow. Okay.
But going back to that empathy, he would check in at every room that had the door open, and he would smile at the other patients. He would go to the little area where all the nurses were, and he would love on each individual, right?
Wow.
Nurse. And you could see how that love and that empathy, like gravitated towards different people when they were having low moments, right? Because those nurses are angels. They go into these rooms, these families. I mean, sometimes these families explode on them because they're just dealing with so much, right? And sometimes these kids are like depressed because like they're missing out school again and they're having to go through treatments and they feel like crap. And so these nurses are dealing with that, and then they have to step out of those rooms, and there was Daryush waiting for them, right?
Big old smile.
Yeah. And then because of his emotions, like I said, good and bad, bad side of him is he's a fighter. No, I'm not doing it if I don't want to. No.
Oh man.
How did that come out? Like, he fought through cancer. He has like fought with us tooth and nail all the way up into kindergarten, and now he is at the same age as everybody else in his class, keeping up with them, even though he has a different ability.
Wow.
So it's like I can't just look at this baby in my arms when he was first born and wonder like, what the hell, like, are we going to do? Like, God, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We hardly have insurance. We don't have like money to like give him everything that he's going to need. Like, why did you pick us? You can't like let that blind you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because God knows what he's doing.
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. God.
I was telling my mom about your story on the way here. I was just like, dear God, like this guy.
Yeah. It was definitely a journey for us as well. Again, my son has autism. We did not expect it. When Micah was born, we didn't even realize it. Yeah. No signs, no anything. It was just
How
normal.
far into it did before that?
2.
2. Wow.
Yeah. When we realized, hey, why is he talking so much? And then went to the doctor. They're like, oh, he's probably just a late bloomer. And then they're like, oh, we can do analysis. And my wife is such an advocate. Oh my gosh, bless her heart.
Yes.
She was like, yeah, no, absolutely.
Let's doing it.
Yeah. And so we did it, I remember. And again, there's just little signs of it. And like, okay, yeah, we definitely think he has that. And again, even before we knew, we were already pushing him into classes and getting him ready. And now he's, chatting away, and this kid is oh man, he's an interesting one. He's good though. He's such a sweetheart, fighter, and so you have this beautiful child.
Yes.
And where did this whole, though you're going through something, son, I'm still gonna push you to excel in what you need to do. Where did that come from?
From my husband. I was the type that I was there. I'm going to be here. I'm going to comfort him. I'm going to support him no matter what. Like, that was like that nurturing that kicked in, right? Where like, I'm going to love you through the pain. I'm going to be here for you. You could throw up at me as many times as you need to. Like, I'm going to survive this. My husband was the one. He would go to work at that point. He was working at an Orthodox church as the family director. And he would come back to the hospital every day after work, and he would do exercises with Daryush. He would get him onto a little step and have him hold his fingers, and he would force him to stand up, right? And then he would lay on his belly. I have this beautiful video of him stabilizing Dari's legs and trying to get Daryush to wobble and stand up, right? On his stomach, right? Which is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And so Nemo was like, listen, like, we have to push you. Like, you're going to do this. Yeah. And he looks back sometimes and he's like, it might have been pride on my part a little bit that like my son is gonna like be a conqueror. And I'm like, no, that's just the Persian in you. Like, just it's fine. It's fine. We have all those kind of jokes in our house, but it's because of Nima and how he sees Daryush, and he's like, I don't care who is around you and thinks your capability level is. Yeah. I know that you can do it, and I'm going to make sure you know you can do it, right? And so that's our relationship, where I come in and I'm like, I understand you, Daryush, or I'm not quite hearing your words. That's not your fault. Say it over and over again until I understand, right? So like giving him that reassurance that he can speak. It's on me to learn. My husband is the opposite, where he's like, you will do this. You can do this, right? We're going to go work out today. Like, you're going to get it down, right? So it's that beautiful, like, we're both loving him in
Mm-hmm.
different ways.
No, it's gosh, that's so beautiful. It just brings me joy, right? Because there's a message and I remember this day so clearly. We have a young boy as well with Down syndrome in our church, and our pastor made it a point to the church that whether you're old or young, whether you have Down syndrome or whatever it is that you have or not, you are a child of God. And I remember that day so clearly because they called him up, and they called the eldest person in the church up to pray over him, and it was something that it was like a statement, like don't oversee any child of God.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're doing that and you have that mindset, like, yeah, okay, that's just part of him.
Yeah.
It's not. Nothing's gonna stop him.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's beautiful, and I love it, and I hope that this encourages any mom or dad that has a child with either Down syndrome, autism, whatever it may be.
Right.
God created every single individual with a gift.
Exactly.
And one big thing that I've heard recently, and that's really stood out to me, and is we're created in His image.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, well, if I'm created in His image, and though I have whatever autism, Down syndrome, whatever it may be, okay, why, what is it for?
Yeah.
Right. That's again the mentality of why, or kind of like complaining, oh, why me? To what for?
Yeah. So many people take that line literally out of the Bible. Created in His image, right? Our bodies, our fingers, our hands. But for me, it's the spirit of Christ. This, like, our journey through our Christian life is to become more like Christ. Yeah. That is a spirit thing. That is not a body, like physical body thing. So when you look at an individual like your son, like with autism, or my son with Down syndrome, how many times do you pause and just look at the spirit of the individual, and you're like, oh my gosh, that is such a beautiful soul. And it's like, gosh darn it, are you more like Christ already? Like, were you born like Christ already? Like, more like Christ? Like you are such a beautiful soul, and you're able to connect with people in a different way than I am. Yes. And like, all I see is this physical person. But if I have to pause and see like the spirit of you, because you've already, I feel like Daryush is already farther down that route, and he's 30 years younger than me.
Wow.
It's like, dude,
yeah,
I need to learn from you.
It comes down to, and again, oh my gosh, there's so much that comes down to parenthood. You learn so much. You do. You are developing skills that, again, were never in you, but because of our children, we have to be more patient. We have to be more loving. We have to be more understanding. That's such a big one, right? Because again, these children are incredible. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. They're absolutely resilient, obviously. Yeah. But we also have to remember they're 30 years younger than us, or whatever it is that their age is. Like, oh my gosh, you've only been on this earth for 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it may be. Okay, let me have patience for you. Yeah. And then that should reflect into others too. Yeah. But like you're saying, he's born with this gift of just being that light. Yeah. And I don't know about you. I read the Bible, and it tells me that Christ is light.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's so true. Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay.
So Daryush gets done. He's at the last round of his chemo treatment. And what happens to the world? It shuts down because of COVID. Oh. We were about to have freedom from the hospital and go back to our normal life, and this is amazing. And then it was, well, can I pause really quick here? When I dropped that bomb on you about his Down syndrome saved his life. So leukemia, children with leukemia, AML specifically, they have a 20 to 30% survival rate.
20 to 30%
survival rate.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
individuals with Down syndrome have a 70 to 80% survival rate, and they don't know why yet.
Wow.
So the fact that he has Down syndrome was the reason why his body was able to fight AML, and the reason why when he turned 5, they looked at us and said he will never get it again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, like that is just like, and like I said, they still don't know why. And I'm like, well, when you figure that out, let me know, right? So we're at the last round of chemo. The world shuts down because of COVID. And what does that mean for our family? Well, my husband works in church ministry and school ministry, and the schools are shutting down. The churches are like pulling back. There's no family contact events. So there is no reason to keep him on that job. And he saw that coming. Yeah. He was like, he looked at all the staff and he's like, if money gets tight, I will be the first position that they should cut to save costs. He's like, put aside, they love us. They know what our family's gone through. Yeah. We're just going to put that aside. And a school in Walla Walla, Washington was looking for a principal at that position. And during COVID, we packed everything up and we moved states again. And that's how we ended up back in Washington at that point. We were there for 3 years. And it was in that move that I was like, okay, I'm leaving behind my job. Everything is shut down, so it's going to be really hard to get a job when we move. This is the perfect opportunity to jump right into real estate like we were hoping that we would do.
So where did that come from? Where does this interest of real estate come from? Was it something that's always been there, or it's like, oh, I seen a video of Pace Morby and he's like, man, Pace Morby. Shout out Pace Morby. Love you, brother.
A friend of ours was in the community, and we were all chatting about how our struggle with Daryush. I was working for the state of Oregon in the hospital room, middle of the night to keep up with work. I put on conferences like this for the state of Oregon, right? And so like conference is a conference. It still has to get planned no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. And my husband and I were talking, and then we started talking to friends of ours that the journey that we were on of being a W-2 working woman, which has been always something that I've strived and loved to do, was not going to fit our family needs anymore. Because Daryush was going through so much. Daryush is going to need so much, especially the beginning of his life, that I needed flexibility. And working in the line of work I was working in was not going to give it to us. No. My husband working in church ministry and school ministry, everybody knows those are like the two worst paying, like it's a ministry. Like it's not, you're not in it for the money. And so in between, okay, medical bills, no flexibility, and dear Lord, what is he going to need all the way up through adulthood? Yeah. We were not on the right train. Like, we're not on the right path. We need to figure something out. And a friend of ours was in sub 2 already. And he said, if you watch this ridiculously long 4 to 5 hour Avatar video on YouTube.
That one.
And I think my first response was, I am a mom who's getting very little sleep. How the hell am I supposed to watch a 4 to 5 hour long video? And he's like, you could do it in sections. Like, you know, that go. Like, you could just however long it takes you. So I did. It took me about a week to work my way through that video. Yeah. And I found myself in that video. Wow. Right. And so this move was happening, and we were like, you know, we can't afford it, but we're going to do it. Yeah. And there's that leap of faith of like, this is what we have to do. This is what we need to do. There is no failure. It has to happen. Right. And that, I think that's in me even more than it's in my husband, because I come from a family that's like, you can do all things through Christ. Yes. Whatever you want to do, put your mind to it. And then my dad, you know, working class, military, worked on, you know, oil rigs, like go. You commit to something, you see it through. Wow. Right? Like, and so all that like came out in me when we made this jump into real estate. And I was like, okay, joined sub 2, immediately realized I needed to be in top tier TC. So I joined them as well. And just worked my way through it. And I feel like about the time that we met, I was starting to get some work, but I was also hitting that point where I was going through the death valley of entrepreneurship. And like the speaker that came yesterday was talking about climbing Mount Everest, and there's this glacier valley, right?
Yes.
And like so many people die in that glacier valley.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what I was going through about the time
Wow.
where we met, where it was just like, can I keep doing this?
Wow.
Do I need to go get a W-2?
Yeah.
Like, can I afford this path that I'm on? And I just kept pushing through, right? And so now here we are today,
Yeah.
and we both have made it through that
Yeah.
valley, right?
Yeah.
And now we're finally seeing the fruition of all of our work.
That's wow. I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Because again, when we first talked, I was like, man, this girl checking out her background. So I when I look at people's Zoom, I do look at their background,
Yes.
see what their setup is, and I see how to kind of judge them a little bit.
Of course. You got to have conversation points, right? You got to be able to have those awkward questions that you can only get out of a podcast. Yeah. You can't do that without stalking them a little bit.
Yeah. So I remember the first conversation. It was a great. I think we're on it for some time.
Yeah.
I think the only reason we got off was because Daryush was needing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, well, that was a freaking great conversation.
Yeah.
I know I have a great connection with her.
Exactly.
And so that's amazing that you pushed through. Like I said, never would have guessed that you were going through that valley, which is beautiful, because again, it keeps going back. The theme of you is, I'm trusting you, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm trusting you, Lord. When my son is this situation with my son, I'm trusting you, Lord. Yeah. This entrepreneurship that don't know, but hey, I'm gonna go with it. Trusting you. Exactly. You made it happen. God allowed through your life to get built in sections, right? You got your fighter, you got your faithfulness, you got your hard working, you have all these things that put you in this path. Yeah. And you're here now, and you're killing it. Yeah. You're killing it. And I am so proud of you for what you're doing. I'm so proud of how you're getting into these different modes, these different teams. And again, I think there was a time where we didn't contact for a couple months, and then all of a sudden I was talking to Devon, and I see your name on there. I was like, that's my girl.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I didn't even know you. And I believe I brought it up. I'm like, oh dude, that's so cool.
Before we finish today's conversation, I want to talk to you about the last thing that God has been doing. Okay. So we moved to right outside of Sedona, Arizona for my husband's work, right? We had 2 days to decide if he was taking an offer in Berkeley, California, or if we were taking this Arizona, right? It was like, that's how we roll. Last minute, let's make a decision. Let's pack everything up and let's go, right? I drive this road every day to drop him off at school, because we're a one-car family right now. And I noticed some sale signs. So right about Thanksgiving, I sit down and I'm just like, what's on Zillow? Let's just take a look, right? And I stumbled upon a hell of a find. It was listed
in California.
They're in Arizona.
Yeah. Oh, in Arizona.
In Arizona, right? So it was listed, and it was one of those properties that they were like, oh, you can turn this beautiful house into a dude ranch or a retreat center, backs up right to state land, blah, blah, blah. But then I noticed that it hadn't sold for over 100 days. And then I noticed it was listed underneath a different address, and it hadn't been sold for 80 days. I was like, this is weird, right? Okay. That operator hat, kicked in, and I was like, what's going on? I gave them a call, and what this has turned into is that an individual wants to spend the last few years of her life with her husband. They have built out this mini compound, if you will. There's 3 homes, 2 assisted living businesses, so 22 doors total on this property.
Wow.
4 acres that are not even developed, total of 10 acres total, backs up straight to state land with a trail that goes straight to the school that my husband is working at.
Whoa.
And they're willing to sell it to me. And so Devon is my business partner, and we're supposed to be closing the first week of May, and that is how I'm starting out my portfolio.
That's going to be your new house?
That's my new house.
Wow.
And then I have a 10-unit assisted living that's right below me. I have another house on the property that has another 10 assisted living business as well. And I have 1 long-term rental unit in the back of the property.
You can't tell me God doesn't provide.
I know, right?
You can't tell me
It's
that.
amazing. I met Devon just a few months before this. Yeah. And now I've worked with him as a TC and a little bit as an operator. And then it was like, hey, this just like fell into my lap, and the relationship was there. And now I was like, you know what? It's time for me to start my portfolio.
Yes.
And that's what I'm starting out with. 22 doors.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so freaking beautiful.
And my husband will be able to bicycle to work every day.
Oh, I bet he loves that.
He's really excited. Well, he goes back and forth. He's like, I could bicycle, or we could just get a little, ATV. I was like, yeah, the guy in you just wants to go really fast up and down.
Oh, yeah. Just.
Yeah. I was like, let's work on that. Let's get the house first, and then we'll talk about how you're going to get to and from school.
No, it's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. God has done a lot of stuff in your life.
Yes.
15 years of marriage.
15 marriage, yeah.
7 years with no kiddos, and then this situation happens where you get an amazing child with Down syndrome, and you're like, what is going on?
Tornado.
Like, the look up, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it's amazing because you probably had that thought. I was like, and then you're like, all right, let's get to it.
Yeah, exactly. That brief moment.
Yeah. And oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so. I was listening to. I'm not a big reader. I was listening to the Bible, and I was listening to Job, the book of Job. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And so, there was a message that I seen in it that was maybe a little bit different, and I like to put. When I read these stories, I like to kind of envision them and how I would tell the story.
Yeah.
And so the story of Job is beautiful because God knows Job won't blaspheme against him, won't talk bad about him. But the devil doesn't.
Right.
And that's the beautiful part. God knows from A to Z, he's beginning to the end, and the devil doesn't.
Yeah.
And so what I was seeing is like, I told the story to a friend. I'm going to tell it a little bit briefly. The story goes, right, devil comes up and has the audacity to come up, which is the craziest part. Because he, at this time, right, we know Earth is already created. He did what he did with Adam and Eve. And he comes up, and in my head, again, I'm telling a story in my head, like this dude has audacity, like in God's place, right? We're sitting here, and he comes up, and he probably sees him. Like, bro, what is he doing here?
Yeah.
Like, and so he's all right. You want to disrespect me by coming in my presence with my angels after what you did? All right, let me go and show you who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he calls him. He's like, hey, bro, have you seen my guy Job?
He's amazing.
He's amazing, and kind of. And this is a beautiful kind of in a point where he's like, he's better than you.
Yeah.
And so much better than you. I'm going to have you test him.
Mm-hmm.
And because I am the all-knowing God,
I know he's
not going to fail.
Yeah.
And so he's like, hey, go test my dude out. And that was like, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to teach, I'm going to show you how it goes, right? Yeah. And we know, right, what he does. And then again, he has audacity to come back again.
Yeah.
After failing.
Yeah. I'm going to try again.
It's just kind of like, that hater.
Yeah.
Just comes up, and it's like, even though he's a hater, he still wants to see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes up, and God sees him again. Like, this freaking guy can't come back again. Audacity. And so he's like, yo, what happened? Like he didn't fail me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine. Well, bro, it's because
some excuse, right?
Yeah, some excuse. Oh, I if you would have let me get into his body and do this and this and this, and again, all knowing, just don't kill him. Do what you're gonna do, and I tell you, he won't fail me. And so obviously, he does what he does. He takes away his land. He takes away his family. He takes away his health. All these things, and then he has his friends that come. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, they're a little supportive, right? And then and then by the end, they're criticizing him.
Yeah.
And by the end, Job's like, just I wish you wouldn't have just made me, because this sucks. And the message that I like, there's so much in that to unpack. There's grace, there's his mercy, there's his power. One of the things was like, when he was talking to Job, he's like, again, I like putting into my own words, like, bro, do you make yourself breathe?
Yeah.
Like, can you do that?
Right.
Like, just simply put, like, if I wanted to say stop breathing, you would stop breathing.
Exactly.
That's it. Like, don't lean on your own understanding.
Yeah.
Know that I am he.
Yeah.
I am that I am. I freaking love that verse.
Yes.
And Job's like, you're right, Dad, I'm sorry.
We got this.
And so the story is such a beautiful story, right? Because you have your highs and lows, you know, your ups and downs, and as human beings, we have these things. And again, God won't give you more than you can handle. Right? He does these things all for a purpose. He wants to draw your attention to him, and he did that.
Yeah.
And again, though for that split second, you're like, why? And then you remember, oh, I serve a very, very powerful God.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so beautiful, and I love it. I love that you're here, and God has brought you from Texas, even though we're in Texas.
I know, right?
To all these different states.
Texas, Virginia, Washington, you know, but all over the stinking United States of America.
Yeah. And we're back at here again, full circle, and we're sharing your story.
Yeah.
And I want people, I want people to know that it's okay to show your faith in your business. And that's actually the last question I'll go with is, how do you implement your faith into your business?
It's a great question. I think I came from a very charismatic background. And I think because of that, I'm not very charismatic at work. But it's the small things you do each day, the honor that you bring to your work, the respect that you bring, the love your neighbor, right? That standard way of operating because you're a Christian, because of the belief system that you have and the standards that you have for yourself to be Christ-like, that's what I work in, right? And so each day when I'm interacting with somebody and I hear that it's another mom who's juggling a child and working. It's like, okay, well, how can I help you, right? How can I support you? What do you need to hear today, right? Because sometimes you are the voice that God uses to speak to that person.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Yep.
So you got this, girl. Like, man, you are amazing. Like this is fantastic that you were able to do this. Or like in the TC world, I don't feel like I'm doing this right. Can you come shadow me and help make sure that and then halfway through the transaction, I've had this done a couple times where they're like, JV with me, right? This is one of my first ones. Halfway through the transaction, I'm like, you're not gonna pay me because you're doing all the work and I'm just sitting here.
Yeah.
Like, you got this, right? And they're like, no, I still wanna pay you. I'm like, no. You just needed that moral support.
Right.
You didn't need somebody to do the work with you or for you. You already had this, right? So like showing other entrepreneurs that I'm not in it just to take a portion of their money, of their deals, but I'm in here to support them and help them grow because that's what I needed at some point, right? And that's kind of how that plays out in my work environment. Other than that, like I tell people, I'm not available on Sunday. I might or might not work with you on Saturday, but you will not impact my day of rest and my family time. Like, guys, sorry, it's not happening. And so people have learned to respect that.
Yeah.
At first, they're like, well, why aren't you working 7 days a week? Why aren't you available? I'm like, because my why. My why was to be available for my family. And if I don't respect my why,
what was the whole point?
The whole point is failed.
It's all gone.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, hold on for that. Hold on.
Okay.
The fact, I want to bring it back to what you were saying about how God will use certain people. So he does. He truly does. And one of the things that I see myself as simply a tool. That's it. God, take me into places where you want me to speak. Take me into places where you want me to encourage.
Yes.
one thing that I've realized in this entrepreneurship journey is that is one of my gifts, is to encourage and help coach, whatever it may be, however you want to see it or say it. I don't know where it comes from. You know, well, actually I do know where it comes from, but I like saying where it's like, it's a saying where it's like, it just fell in my lap.
Yeah,
it is who I am. And so
you would have never, like 10 years ago, you would have never looked at yourself in the mirror and be like, this is what I'm gonna do. This is who I am. Like it it happens.
It just happened. Yeah. It's the development of life and how it happened and the journeys that I've gone through. Whew, man, it's so good. It's beautiful how God develops us in our journey. And so, yes, you continue to be that shining light in this world where a lot of people won't implement it or won't know or don't know. Right. And that's our job to share and say, you know, you want people to think, man, why is Emma so amazing? Yeah. And
I want to be around her. I want to be more like her, right? Because that's that attraction of, well, actually you want to be Christ-like. Like that's really what you're seeing and what you're feeling, right?
Yes. Yeah. So good. I love that. So, keep being his tool. Yeah. Keep working. Keep being you as you try to imitate Christ. Exactly. You asked me, how do I implement in my business? I think this is exactly it. Yeah. It is, I try to be as graceful as possible. I try to be as merciful as possible. At the end of the day, I still am this guy that is, I expect people, because I know human beings have such an incredible capability. Again, we talked about it, right? We're made in his image. His spirit is in us. Creativity is in us to do many things. We have certain gifts to do many things. Right. And it's like when you lean into him, you lean into the gifts that he has given you and you start utilizing them, everything changes. Yeah, everything changes. I was not a person that thought my communication was great when I was younger. I was an angry kid. Yeah. A lot of us were. And when I came into this world of entrepreneurship, real estate, I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at talking with people. Yeah. And it was kind of that aha moment. I was like, yeah, I like this. I like to communicate with people. I love to share these moments with people. Yeah. And that's how I implement it. And pretty sure I told you this, but last year, it was last day, I was going to the restroom. And I'm not a person that likes to speak in the restroom. Yeah. I'm not.
Go in, go out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I went into the restroom. I was washing my hands. There's a couple guys in there. They started chit-chatting, and then they aimed the question towards me. I answered it real quick, and I walked out. I was like, I'm not one to have a conversation in the restroom. Right. And the guy follows me outside. Yeah. I'm like, the heck? Okay, cool. William, I love you, bro.
You were thinking it. You were thinking it.
I was. I love you, bro. But so he asked me the question. He's like, what do you want? What do you, like, in my head, I'm like, real estate wise? And I answered that. It was real estate wise. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I need private money lenders. I'm connecting. I'm finding capital. Yeah. He's like, no, what do you want? And he just kept saying that. Yeah. I was like, what do I want? What do you, I just answered you. He's like, no, and he asked me last time, what do you want? I'm like, I'm like,
he was God's voice right there.
Do you, if this is interesting. I'm like, do you mean what do I want in real estate or what do I want in life? And he's like, no, what do you want in life? I'm like, bro, you should have just told me that, dude. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I want to be used by God. Yeah. As I want to be his tool. That's it. And this, you should have seen his face. Like, what? Like what? And I'm like, yeah. I gave this guy a 3-hour lesson. Wow. And we just talked. Amazing. And it was all through him. Yeah. And it was so beautiful because it was so organic. It wasn't forced. He was so into the conversation and just drawn into the message that God wanted for him. Yeah. So though he asked me the message, I was like, let me have that, put this seed of asked this guy that you have no idea who he is, went into the restroom, started chit-chatting, and actually, let me take that back. There was times he tried to walk away. And I'm like, no. I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you.
You have cornered me and I'm cornered.
Yep. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's what I want. When I go into these events and we talk about our businesses and we talk about what we're doing, that's what I want to be done through me. I want God to shine his light and people to be like, oh, I want to talk to this guy. I don't know why, but I just want to talk to him. Yeah. Though maybe there's no business in it sometimes. Even in this conference, I'll be very honest with you. With this conference, I was like, well, you know, I feel like I'm done talking to people for now. Yeah. Right? It's like, I wanted to, a lot of, like in this conference specifically, I'm like, I want to talk to my friends. Yeah. I want to reconnect with them. I want to share what's going on in my life, and I want to know what's going on in their life. And I don't, like, something is telling me don't worry about networking so much this time. Yeah. And just reconnect with the people that you've connected with. Mm-hmm. And so it's different because, again, my mind is like, let me connect with as many people as possible. Yeah. But my heart's telling me otherwise. My heart's telling me go with your friends. With other people. Yeah, go with your friends and talk about stuff. Yeah. Talk about what they're going through. Know what they're going through. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's some seed that you need to plant in there. Yeah. So that's how I implement God into my business. Yes. By sharing him, by sharing attributes that God has given me, and I let God do his work. Yeah. That's it. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So I know I said it was the last question for sure. What do you need in this moment? So when people see it, see these clips, they're like, all right, I need to reach out to Emma. Now that I know who Emma is and what she's gone through, I know she's an incredible person. What do you need in your business? I'm gonna just answer that in two folds. Okay. My Mount Everest. Let's start there. Okay. The end goal, right? Because everything I do is working towards that. Mm-hmm. We want to create a Camp Hill village in the Sedona area, more out west, because most of them are on the East Coast, which is a village where individuals with other abilities live together, work together. Think of like woodworking, metalworking, art, coffee shops. Like, you design a safe space for them to come and utilize and find gifts and be together. We want to create that and bring that out to the Sedona area before Daryush graduates high school. We want it up and running so that if he feels like he wants an environment like that, he already has that in place with individuals who have disabilities and other abilities like him, and he can feel at home. If he wants to leave our house, we'll have that available for him. So that's kind of our goal. Like I said, we see the need. There's nothing like that out on the West Coast right now. And this is a blueprint that's working, and it's a beautiful blueprint. So we want to bring that out there. For us to be able to do that, we have to build up my TC operations business, and we have to build up a portfolio that has a passive income enough so that we can have that financial backing and freedom to do that. So over the next 10 years or so, 12 years, because he's in kindergarten, that's the journey that I'm on. The TC squad right now has just launched operational support, accounting services, and of course, transactional management. Yep. So we're here. If an investor is needing support, if they're needing somebody to come in and see where those bottlenecks are, if they're wanting to buy back their time, we are here. We have a system in place. We have a heart of service. We want to help. So come see me if that's you. If that's not you, but you're a wholesaler, a lender, if you are an investor who's looking on getting rid of some of your properties, if it aligns with my buy box, reach out to me, right? Because building up that portfolio is that passive income that will help me obtain that goal in another 10 to 12 years. Okay. Yeah. So you said it was two parts. That was your first part. What's the second part? Oh, well, first part was what is my... okay. What's your Mount Everest? Okay. Yeah. Perfect. And then back down to the finish. I love it. Emma, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. This was always amazing. A pleasure. Always a pleasure. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank God. Yeah.
Your family has to come to Sedona soon.
We'll make a trip.
Yeah.
We'll make a trip.
Okay.
We have to, actually, I'll talk about it after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I appreciate you so much.
Thank
you. Again, if you need TC work and operator work, you want to work with Emma after hearing this amazing story, reach out to her. Obviously, we'll have her links on the bio, in the clips where we post this on IG, things like that.
Perfect.
We'll tag her so you can reach out to her.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.